welcome to Fashionably Conscious. I'm Isabella.
And I'm Haitanna. And today's topic is on the introduction to sustainability from the fashion perspective and everything else.
Yeah, so this is something that we've been wanting to get into for a while. We really think it's important to really know why sustainability is so important, especially when it comes to the fashion industry. Um, Fashion is so harmful to the environment, and it's actually the second most polluting industry in the whole world. So we really just want to share that with you guys, share what we think about sustainability in regards to the fashion industry, and just why it's important to, educate yourselves and maybe find new options for shopping.
And yeah, like everybody, I'd like to add to that everybody emphasizes about sustainability in like the oil industry and how we need to make transportation more sustainable, how we need to stop using plastic to be more sustainable, how we need to start protecting our environment and our forests to be more sustainable. But no one ever decides to talk about how fashion is probably like Isabella, it's the second most polluting industry.
So like if you really care about sustainability and instead of worrying about what straws you're using, which is still important, look at what your clothes are made out of, look at who made your clothes, what dyes were used to make that clothes. There's so much that goes into making, one t-shirt, one pair of pants, and a lot of times they don't last you past one wash.
So yeah, just to begin this whole like section of our podcasts, I want to start off with the definitions of the Google definitions of what sustainability is. So there's two. There is the ability to be maintained at a certain rate or level. So when you're sustainable, you're trying to maintain something. You're trying to maintain. You're trying to like establish boundaries in the sense of how much you use something. Consumption. The second one is avoidance of the depletion of natural resources in order to maintain an ecological balance. Now, no one ever thinks about, again, fashion being non-sustainable. Everybody talks about everything else, but fashion, our clothes, are non-biodegradable, and I think that's one of the most important things to address, especially because fashion ties in with fast fashion, which is probably the worst industry to contribute to the downfall into like an unsustainable world. And as you know, global warming is real. It is real, everybody, and our planet can only take so much.
Yeah, and I think we all need to start making, changes to the way we eat, the way we consume, the way we buy products. Everything affects the environment, and one of the biggest things that we do is buy clothes. And just, changing your shopping habits, whether it's consuming less, whether it's buying something that's going to last you longer, those little things will make a huge difference.
So yeah, and this whole fast fashion era is so new because of consumption and consumerism. It's so new. It's probably, I would want to say it's about 80 to 50 years new, because in the 1950s, women still made their own dresses. Home economics and sewing classes were so essential to our everyday lives. But ever since, we started manufacturing clothes out of seas, paying workers low wages, it has allowed this industry to sell clothes at a fast rate and at low prices. Mm-hmm. But again, the quality, with that comes the lack of quality and a fast change in trends. And I think that needs to stop. And
yeah. In the last 20 years, that's when really fast fashion started to come, and it's become really popular. You know, we back in the day, like you mentioned, people would maybe go shopping a couple times a year. You know, those pants were supposed to last them, you know, maybe like 5 years. Shoes, people really only had like one or two pairs of shoes. You go into like a house that was built in the 50s and the closets are tiny. And why is that? It's because people didn't really buy that much clothes. So I think nowadays we have like this overconsumption, and that's because of all these fast fashion brands that are continuously making clothing at a very cheap price. And people feel like, oh, I need to have the trendiest pieces. I need that. I need that. They're making all these clothes, but they really don't last that long, for one. And like, do you really need like, you know, do you really need 10 pairs of jeans? Like, why not just buy one or two pairs that are going to last you way longer?
Yeah, and because trends change so much, I again, it will tie into Instagram influencers. Like, and I think that's where I really get aggravated because Instagram influencers will be like, use sustainable cups, use sustainable stuff. But look at my, like, cheap, you know, I don't want to call it cheap, but like my top that came from an unsustainable brand. Like, dude, like, and then
Call it,
next week, all your other posts are following unsustainable clothing. Like, come on.
yeah, I totally agree. Boho, Fashion Nova, like all these brands that have exploded in the last couple of years, and they thrive on this fast fashion model. And people want trendy clothes, and trends are like constantly changing. So these people, you know, are always buying like the most trendy clothes, and it's fine if like this is trendy this month and this is trendy the next month because it's so cheap to just keep buying like whatever's like trendy the next month, you know. It's easier to keep up with the trends. But what ends up happening, like the environment is suffering, those making the clothes is suffering, and our landfills are just getting filled up.
Yeah, and people want to donate stuff. People want to donate their clothes, but in reality, out of all the clothes that gets donated, 75% actually end up back in the landfill or end up back in Africa as donations from places like Goodwill. And then all those donations are free clothing to these um, poor communities. And
And it
these
actually hurts those poor communities and just the industries in those poor communities. For like example, in Africa, you know, like their tribal clothing or like their cultural clothing, those industries suffer because they have an influx of like all these clothes from Goodwill that's donated. So no one actually supports like, you know, their customary clothing that's made by their like own fashion designers.
Yeah, like they're local artists, they're local tailors, they're local artisans in general stop getting work because it's okay, well, am I going to get free clothing from the US that even though it's used, which is still good quality because again, we're so used to throwing things away, or are we going to support our community? It's more than just like a piece of clothing. And I think that's where we're trying to get at. It's more about than just is that a cute top? Is it cheap? Or don't buy that because it's not cheap. Like it's about all the repercussions because even working sustainability ties in with work and fair trade. Yeah, look cute on Instagram, but the people making these garments are working under very bad conditions, and I can vouch for that because I've seen it with my own eyes when I while I worked in like a couple months ago in this company. I saw these workers being yelled at to produce clothing faster. I saw them working in these sweatshops because and they're called sweatshops for a reason because you're sweating there.
And
There's no AC and air filtered.
and this was in LA, right?
This was in LA. This was for a company that sells their clothing. They sell their clothing. Well, obviously, it's cheaper. It's crazy because a piece of a dress, a romper, will cost like well, they will sell it for like $8. $8 to make a romper. How much is that in reality? Like, these people will make 2 rompers. That's like, and they'll get paid minimum wage, if not even less. All the garment workers there were getting paid $11.50 per hour. $11.50 per hour, and they weren't working in the best conditions. Yeah, they weren't working in the best conditions. They weren't even given breaks. I who was not even like a garment worker, who was part of the design so and so called team, did not get breaks. I did not, like, I was, and I wasn't given like privileges. And I remember people told me that's your right to have a break. Well, how I didn't even feel comfortable taking a break, because even these people wouldn't take a break. Like a 15-minute break, that's like a lot if you think about it. If they're trying to make 2 rompers into an hour and 60 minutes. Like, it's
the people that are working these jobs, like making these clothing, are most of the time like undocumented immigrants, so they're not gonna like say anything if they don't get a break, you know? Like, who are they gonna go complain to? They can't report the company. They probably don't even have like documents to show they're like legally working.
Exactly, and it's such a fast-paced environment. Even for packing clothes, we sold clothes, and I'm gonna just say it because screw it, I don't even work for them, and I know a lot of companies. Vici Dolls. I don't know if you've heard of Vici Dolls.
No.
Vici is an online store that sells different clothing from different boutiques. So Vici would buy from this certain company, and they would require things to be packaged in plastic and whatever. Even I helped a lot with the packaging, which is why I left, because I was packing.
Because you cut off.
I was helping a lot with the packaging for Vici, and yeah, Vici sells like a romper at like $60 from this company, and like you're paying garment workers like shit. You're paying garment workers crap.
So how much is it wholesale, and then how much would they sell it for?
Like, what do you mean?
Like, how much would the company sell it to the boutique?
They would sell rompers at like, honestly, it didn't go past $10. And then I'm talking like,
buy it for $10 and then sell it for $80. So they're making $70, right?
yeah,
Off that romper, basically. And who cares about the workers who made it?
kind of, yeah. And like the conditions, like, dude, even if they get paid, even if someone gets a low paying job, I don't think there's human rights. You wouldn't leave a dog in like a room with no windows and no air. Like, why leave a group of humans, a lot of humans, working in this type of condition? Like, they're not, and it's crazy. I would see the owners yell like, "Hurry, you're doing this wrong. Stop talking." We weren't even allowed to. Yeah, you could be sewing and chit chat with people. You weren't allowed to do that in this company's production warehouses, And it's just like, yeah, you weren't allowed to do that. Even when I packaged, and I was just, you're packaging clothing, I was told to shut up, because that would make my work, my production, my work ethic slower, I guess. I don't, and in my opinion, it was just one day I just ended up quitting, and I've mentioned that before. But yeah, it fucking sucks. Like, these places suck. And now every time I look at clothing from these companies, it's like I know it's hard for me to shop for clothing, because I know the process behind it. I've gone to boutiques here. I live in LA. We live in LA County, and I'll go to Brea, which is Orange County, and like these cute boutiques with cute clothes, they'll be selling these at an up price of $80. And I've bought clothes from these boutiques, and now I look back and I look at the tags, and I'm like, I know this company, I don't want to support it, because I know. I mean, yeah, it's cute, but come on. Like, and even the clothing, even the quality, like.
And then I think it's so much about like that profit over, people, over the environment, over like, And it's so damaging because all you're really thinking about is about making the profit, which, yeah, that's business, but to an extent, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that it's important to know where you're buying clothes. And even I've said, you don't always have to buy clothing from sustainable companies. I've said this, but you do have to limit your amount of consumption. If money is an issue to buy like a shirt, a top that was made ethically, because I know these tops cost about $80 for a simple top, something that's been ethically made, you know? And like,
Or,
I get it.
you know, I think that's so much better.
Like, it's
But
probably better quality. Yeah, it's better quality.
uh,
You helped a single mother somewhere out there across the country, across the world, be able to take food to her kids. She probably was in better conditions. And I'm saying generalizing. Sometimes it's men, but like, it's that. Like, you don't want to know that your clothing was produced by someone who was sweating so much, who barely can make ends meet, while you're buying clothes so easily. Like, no. But again, um, what was I saying? Yeah, if money is an issue to buy clothes, then limit the amount of clothing that you buy. Limit it,
mhm.
because I've even bought them from places like Forever 21 and like H&M and stuff. But dude, I will wear this top until it falls apart, because now, moving forward, now that I can have a little, I do check quality. I don't buy at certain places just because the quality sucks. Like, I know that in one wash, because they don't pre-wash fabrics, they wash them, but there's always that coating. There's always ironed when it's on the hanger. Once you wash it, things can change with that dress. And this is again the lack of quality put into the clothing. However, like, you should think about, when you look at clothes, how long can last you? How often will you use it? Yeah, it's a Hawaiian dress, a party, it's a costume party, it's a whatever type of party, but we can always find ways. And I think you mentioned that there's certain ways to be sustainable, and I really like the ways that you mentioned. So I think you should talk about like the different, how it's like, it's a good, like, easy ways you can be more sustainable. And
Yeah.
some don't even require a lot of money.
Yeah, so I think it's like like some easy ways to be sustainable, like just upcycle your new clothes, like if you know how to sew, like maybe take the straps off or, make it a little bit more trendier. Another way is just shop secondhand, like Goodwill, they help obviously their workers and everything's donation, and then they're also not like consuming adding to that consumption that's like so bad for the environment. You're buying from what's already. And then I think just if you could rent clothing, that's like something else that's like new and like really good for the environment. So instead of buying like a $50 dress that you're just gonna wear like for this wedding this one time, why not just rent that dress that's better quality, for $50? And if you know you're gonna wear something once, I think it's worth it to just rent.
Yeah, and some of these weddings are so fancy that, people will buy like prom looking dresses, gowns. Like, come on, let's be honest. How often are you going to wear that? And if you get invited to another family party, are you really going to wear the same dress? No. So, like, just freaking rent it. I think renting is so, I didn't know about this, and I will so rent my stuff, because, like, even looking, like, why? You're going to be renting a dress that probably costs like a $500 to $800 for not even that.
Yeah, so why not look fancier and, it's better for the environment. Keep it on your wallet too.
Yeah. So little things like that. Upcycling. This is why I think sewing is so essential, but people are forgetting that. It's so easy to change something up. I just got some jeans from my mom. They're like so in right now, and I can easily just cut them and make them ankle length, and they'll be something you'll find out like Tilly's or PacSun. Like, just upcycle. That's what upcycling is about. And I feel like it's important to normalize wearing the same outfit. People like, oh, why are you wearing the same? Like, no, it's okay to wear the same outfit. Like, if you can mix and match, better. But like, it's okay. Like, I don't know what's so wrong with wearing the same stuff. I'm actually sewing something. Just wanted to throw it out. Well, yeah. So yeah, guys, just watch what you buy, watch what you wear. It's okay to wear the same top to the same party. No one cares. You're saving money. You're saving the world. You're saving lives. You're feeding a family. But all I want to say is thank you for watching. Thank you for allowing us to have this platform, and if you are listening and you are watching, it means a lot because not everybody takes the time to learn even or just get other people's idea and inputs and views about certain topics.
Yeah, so thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe this video and leave your comments down below. Thank you guys.